Welcome to Technovation. I'm your host, Peter High. My guest today is Michael Ruttledge. Michael is the Chief Information Officer of Citizens Financial Group. He oversees all aspects of the bank's technology environment, from customer and client-facing applications to the people, processes, and infrastructure supporting Citizens' day-to-day business operation. Prior to his current role, Michael was the Group Chief Information Officer at American Express. Michael, welcome to Technovation. It's great to speak with you today.
Thanks, Peter. Delighted to be here.
Wonderful. Well, Michael, I listed a little bit of your purview as Chief Information Officer, and I wonder if you could take a moment to maybe add a little bit more detail as to some of the areas that you and your team focus on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I joined Citizens almost 3 years ago now. I report into the CEO, Bruce Van Son, and I sit on the top operating committee of the company, which we call ExCo. Which I think, was partly what attracted me to come to Citizens. I think Bruce had a vision that he saw that technologies was going to play a leading role in the transformation for the bank. And certainly I oversee all aspects of technology at the bank. So from all the new capability delivery to the infrastructure to the architecture. I oversee the data engineering teams as well. So, it's a great role, interesting role, partner really closely with the business heads to really deliver new capabilities and ensure the systems are up and running 24/7.
That's wonderful. And I know you're in the throes of what you refer to as the next gen tech transformation program to enable business aspirations. And I wonder if you could talk a little bit about how that's brought to life, a little bit of context there and some of the substance of it, if you would.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So once again, really wanted to start with a vision and a strategy and lay out a plan. And that was endorsed by the board. And it was a 3.5-year transformation program that really was centered on 5 pillars. One was moving to an agile environment. 2 was introducing APIs and building blocks. 3 was really upskilling our engineering talent. 4 was around looking at our tech cost transformation and how could we move to the cloud, lower our data center infrastructure costs. And the 5th was what I'd like to call protecting the core. So from a cyber perspective, from an availability perspective, really making sure that we have a solid foundation there. I think, listen, in 2.5 years since we really started this, I think we've been enormously successful. We partnered with the business. We implemented what we call a modern operating model, which really was not only looking at how does technology become agile, but how does the business transform to become agile. So how do we grow the right product owners? How do we get that mindset so we're delivering MVP releases? And we've really seen in the course of 2.5 years pivot from projects that were taking, frankly, up to 3 years to smaller incremental programs. And just one example of that, in our mobile, which is a fully cloud native application up and running on AWS, we've launched over 970 different features this year, just in 8 months. So just an example of what we've been able to do with Agile. In addition, that same platform is using 15 enterprise RESTful APIs. And, that's 15 of 100 APIs that we've developed so far at the bank. And our goal is to probably have a library of about 200 reusable APIs that we can use across all the different teams. And that really centered around the 3rd pillar, which was really upskilling our talents. So what we really focused on was we created a set of engineering academies. And these were 9-10-day boot camps that we put our colleagues through. And these were colleagues who maybe didn't know the most up-to-date technology. They weren't full-stack engineers, but these are all people with technical backgrounds. They have computer science degrees. They may be coding, coded in COBOL or C++, but they were able to learn Java, and they were able to learn over 30 different technologies. And it was really 150 colleagues have gone through that program, and it's really been well received. And in parallel to that, we did a massive hiring of engineering talent. So we frankly replaced some of the business, the roles that we had, and really brought in more engineering talents, people with cloud native experience, full engineering stack experience. So, and that's really made a significant difference as well. And then fourthly, we've been looking at moving to the cloud. So, we were very sort of package driven. We were very using our own data center. We had very little in the cloud, and we really doubled down on our cloud migrations. So we've got over 100 applications now within the cloud. It's significantly reducing our cost. At the same time, we've been able to build in automation that is actually improving the controls that we have in that environment. So from a security perspective, from a risk perspective, I have confidence that we're at higher levels than we did in our legacy environment. And that leads into the fifth pillar. Of course, all these are connected, which is protecting the core, protecting against cyber. So we have a multi-layered strategy against cyber threats. And we've really, I think, in the last 2.5 years, done a great job of that, and also done a great job improving availability of our systems.
That's a great overview, Michael. I appreciate you covering it in such detail. And as you pointed out, it really brings to life the interconnectedness between the 5 pillars, which I'm sure strengthens each. There's a lot there I'd love to dive further into.
Yeah.
You mentioned that part of what you are doing is fostering agility across the entire enterprise. And I wonder to what extent you see IT in some ways across all that you've described as being the kind of the leading edge of showing the rest of the organization what is to come or where business is heading as a result of more sophisticated use of digital technologies, modern technologies, modern skill sets, et cetera. Talk a bit about the impact on the broader organization of the transformation that you've led in IT.
Yeah, I think that's, I think we were able to demonstrate that in certain areas. So, for example, following the pandemic, we've been on this journey, but one of the great examples where I think technology was able to lead and really show the business what we're capable of doing is we had to set up a program to be able to offer our small businesses and corporate customers PPP loans in a very rapid amount of time. It was announced 1 week by the government, and we needed those capabilities in the market in less than a couple of weeks. And we were able to develop a set of APIs and get to market, partner with the Small Business Administration, link to their websites, and really bring a capability to life within a very short amount of time. And we're able to do over 6 billion in loans to our customers and really help our clients during this time. I think it's a great example of where we're able to show that we're able to get to market very, very quickly and leverage some of the new technology that we just started really enabling. So it really gave us a good opportunity to do that.
You mentioned also enhancing the engineering talent and tools. And part of that is the training that you provide. It sounds like a very sophisticated upskilling that you are fostering through some of the training modules that have been developed. But you also mentioned that you've been fairly successful, at least with the war for talent, if you will. It is really quite a dynamic environment right now to hire great people, and very difficult in some quarters. The fact that you at Citizens have actually done some good things in this area. I wonder if you could talk a bit about some of the methods you have used, coupled with the reasons why yours has been an attractive destination for great people.
Yeah, I think there's a number of reasons, but one is I think this transformation that we're on. Engineers love working on exciting new programs. right? So I think they recognized that, we were moving to the cloud, we were developing APIs, we've really brought in probably 30 new technologies. So there was a lot of interest, I think, in just learning and being involved in, in some of that new technology. I think the other opportunity we provided that probably, I really wanted to build up the engineering muscle so we could do much more in-house development. So we've been able to replace some vendor solutions. We've been able to completely rewrite them from the bottom up as cloud native applications. And we've done that in under a year at some pretty complex applications with literally millions of lines of code. And I think people are excited about that. They're excited about taking a product and from beginning to end and delivering that and something that is so much superior to what was there before. The other aspect is we've frankly changed our location strategy. So predominantly we were hiring from, we're headquartered in Rhode Island. We have offices in Boston. We were primarily hiring in the Northeast. And we've actually now grown. That's still our primary hiring location, but we've also pivoted and are now hiring in Phoenix, in Dallas, in Charlotte, and we have business teams there, but we haven't had tech groups there before, and that's allowed us as well to not only it's allowed us to diversify our hires as well, because those areas tend to have more diverse population. So it's been a win-win from that perspective.
That's fantastic. Can you talk a little bit about further about the curriculum that you've put together for the training modules that you referenced before? I've only in a few cases, I think some real leaders have begun to think about this means of ensuring that there is this, agility of skill sets and building the skills of tomorrow as opposed to resting on the laurels of the skills of yesterday, and the importance to constantly seek and push to upskill one's capabilities in order to remain, kind of relevant and within a modern business. Talk a bit about the methods that you've used, or the partners that you have put together to deliver that.
Yeah, we developed a in-house engineering academy program, and as part of that, it was the first week was just typical classroom sort of presentations, but then the next 8 weeks was actually building a set of code. So the great thing was it got these people immediately immersed in developing APIs, developing on Java, using our DevSecOps pipeline, using the testing tools that we've been able to, as we built the next generation technology, leveraging new database technology. So instantly, we were drinking our own champagne, as it were. We put all that together. And we did partner with one of the consultancy companies to help us kickstart that. They've done this before at other clients, but I think we really took it to the next level and have really furthered it, and it's been very, very successful. The other piece of that was a 10-week program, as I said, which takes a lot of time and commitment. We also did what we call Lightning Academies, which were more focused, but only for 2 weeks. So we did a Lightning Academy on architecture. We did a Lightning Academy on cloud. So we did a Lightning Academy on APIs. So very focused for 2 weeks of just immersion of some of our architects and engineering talent. The other thing we've done is boot camps. So we've actually done 300 days of boot camps, and these are where our colleagues actually do the training. We take our subject matter experts, and they talk about the cloud, or they talk about what they microservices, or so we take these different experts, and we've had just terrific participation in that. The final piece that we've done is we've created this certification program and badges. So, which actually our employers have really, once again, really embraced. So we've had over 400 badges completed so far, and these badges are on architecture, on the cloud, on cryptocurrency, and they're a combination of mostly online classes. Once again, we partnered with a company providing us with these online classes. We've done AWS certification programs, Microsoft certification programs, so partnering with the big cloud providers to use what was already there and frankly get people industry certified, which they've enjoyed as well. So a very broad, I would say, learning program, which our colleagues have really embraced and are really taking the time to do, which is, and everyone's busy, so it's terrific. They're really taking that in their own hands and doing it.
That's really wonderful. I wanted to also ask you about the API-enabled platform as a service offering that you've been putting together as well. That sounds incredible, very compelling. Certainly representative again of where technology is going. In many ways, also kind of is part of the de-risking that the Protect the Core would suggest as well. Again, talking about some of the bonds between the pillars or the common support that each provides the other. Talk a bit about, for those who may be watching or listening, Michael, who are several rungs lower than you are in the ladder of maturing towards the development of APIs. Can you talk a bit about the process of getting started and building momentum in that direction? How did you do so? How did you both make the case for it and explain it, what is an esoteric topic for many, explain the rationale behind it, and then build momentum toward it?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think, I think there's fairly good recognition, even at a senior level, that they've read and they've heard about APIs, and that certainly, I think it's something that people refer to as part of the modern stack. So I think it's something that is familiar, but really, to be honest, we just got started, and we delivered some enterprise APIs that could rapidly be used across the different groups. And then, we set OKRs for that as well. We said, we're going to have, 50 in the first year, 100 by the second year, 150 by the third year. So, I think the fact that we've been able to demonstrate reusability of those across the company has really helped. And also, we've built them on top of, as you said, our platform as a service layer. So, which really allows us to really, unleash the productivity of our engineers, because they can reuse a lot of code, logging and monitoring code that's already been built. So different user entitlements that has already been built. So, we've been able to build both microservices and APIs that now really getting a tremendous amount of reuse around. And we track that. We show the reuse. We show how many of these APIs are being used by multiple business lines. We show the volume that's going through that on a daily basis, and where every month we show, how much greater usage we're getting out of those APIs. So I think it's helped certainly enable the broader usage.
That's great. Michael, is there an example of something you built with using next generation technology that you're particularly excited about?
Yeah, absolutely. We referred to the platform as a service environment earlier that is really helping us unleash engineers. And we've delivered a product that we're calling LAS, Lending as a Service. And it's a cloud native platform that we built from the ground up. And it's going to be used across our businesses. We're starting with student lending, rolling it out to the mortgage business, rolling it out to cards, and then we'll roll it out to our overall loan business. And I'm really excited about it because it really leverages everything that we wanted to build. It's leveraging 22 enterprise APIs, 32 microservices. It was built on our PaaS platform, and it's also using DevSecOps. So we're able to reduce our testing time from 70 minutes to 3 minutes. of testing. Automatically, overnight, we're able to test over 2 million lines of code. So, it's just been a really impressive, platform. And the business are really pleased with what it's enabled for them, because we've really reduced the friction for our customers. So, previously we had to manually load 24 different types of documents. Now that is fully automated. So you no longer have to fax in your students, proof of student graduation, or an income statement, or a company tax return if you're a corporation. We can automatically get that information with appropriate customer consent and bring it in through a set of APIs. We're also able to pre-fill a lot of information, which once again saves our customers time. And we're able to do automatic notifications. So things like disclosures, terms and conditions, we're able to automatically send to our customers. So I think it's just a terrific example of where we're leveraging next-gen technology to really improve the customer experience, improve the end-to-end journey for our customers.
That's great. Well, Michael, if I have my math correct, in 7 years, the company will celebrate its 200th birthday. This is one of the older companies in the country. And you're describing modernization across a variety of different areas that no doubt has been in process for quite some time. But the process of modernizing an older organization obviously comes with its, and I should say at scale as well, an enormous organization with all the many advantages of its history, of its big customer base, of its products and services over many decades, multiple centuries now. You talk a little bit about that process of modernization and the extent to which, how you think about sort of the building blocks to get to fully modernizing as complex an entity as this.
Yeah, it's definitely been a cultural change. So I think, we've had to really think from, how we're changing people's mindsets. There really wasn't, frankly, when I joined, that there wasn't a great relationship between the business and the technology organization. There wasn't the trust there that there needed to be. And, we really worked on that. We really worked on making sure that we had a really close working relationship with our businesses at all levels. And that's made a huge difference. From the very beginning, I said, we can't move forward with Agile without moving lockstep with the business. We have to do it together, jointly. And really that's really happened. So I think that's one of the fundamental changes. As I said earlier, there's been top-down support. The CEO, the whole of the operating committee of the company recognized that we had to change. We had to pivot to a more agile delivery environment. And we frankly had to get more out of the investments that we have. If you look at the scale of our investments compared to a Chase, compared to a Bank of America, we're never going to be able to spend tens of billions of dollars, frankly, that those companies spend. So how can we make sure that we're doing things smarter, that we can still compete? And that's by moving to the agile operating model, by leveraging the scale that we have, frankly, we are able to move, I think, more nimbly because we are smaller. We're US based, even though we're expanding nationally now. We don't have a global footprint, so it makes it a little easier to do some of those things.
That makes sense. Well, as you look to the future, Michael, I'm wondering what trends excite you as you think sort of 2 or 3 years out. Are there some trends that are on the rise that you anticipate investing in and leveraging?
Yeah, some of it is frankly getting the basics right. So we've had an initiative called War on Paper, which, if you think about the mortgage business that we run, you think about auto loans, you think about just getting a loan, so much paper, right? So how can we, how can we replace that? And our customers don't want it. So how can we move that online? How can we do mobile first? So I think, one, it helps the friction with our customers. It makes it easier for them to do business with. It reduces our costs, so it helps from that perspective. And we've seen it grows revenue. So I think mobile will continue. We will continue. That's a trend. Yes, it's not necessarily the new trend, but I think adoption of mobile is going to continue to increase at a very, rapid pace. We like to call it bank in your pocket, right? So ideally, we want to move all the functions that you can do in a branch onto your phone. You want to, so I think that trend will continue, and it'll get, we'll get better. I think, when you look at things like the contact center, there's a lot more that we can be doing in terms of artificial intelligence, serving our customers either through voice or through chatbots. And I think that technology will continue to get better. Certainly the machine, with the vast amounts of data that we have, the machine learning will continue to get better. You have to train that over time. It's not something that you can implement overnight. But I think, when you think about the cost of data and how it's gone down, you think about how everybody's centralizing their data into data lakes now, so they have all of their customer information in a consolidated spot. I think that's going to make a huge difference. And I think I see lots of innovations coming out there in the AI and ML space, and we're definitely at the forefront of some of that and trying to push some ideas on that.
Well, Michael Ruttledge, thank you so much for joining me on Technovation today. It's been a great conversation covering this remarkable transformation that you've led across the past 2.5 years. I appreciate you sharing your perspectives and the substance of that transformation. It's been a great conversation.
Thank you, Peter. Thanks for being a great host.
Thank you.